Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm
There's
really good.
a lot going on there.
It's so funny. I was just looking at my Grogu back here, and I just made me think I'm rewatching the second season of the Manda. I'm sure if you're not a big fan, it doesn't mean anything to you, but I'm rewatching the second season of The Mandalorian. So, because the third season comes out March 1st, I think. So,
Oh, so
yeah,
you'll be all ready for it.
we'll be all ready for it. Right. So, hi everybody. We are
Hello.
Psychic Moms, Tabby Langowski and Julie Hawkins. And, I keep saying I'm going to figure out which episode we're on, but we've been doing this for a while now. So, we've got, I think, close to 100 episodes. And yeah, we love it when you send us your questions for us to answer for you. We can be found in, Tammy can be found in many, many places, me not so much. So, Tammy, where can they find you?
Oh, well, so you can find me, my website, tammysintuitive.com, and then I'm on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook is Tammy's Intuitive Services. I put a lot of channeled messages and stuff like that on there. So in case you're interested in that. And yeah, you can reach me through my contact form on my website, probably the best way to get a hold of me. How about you, Julie?
Kind of the same way you can get me through my website, and then social media for me is kind of just at my. It's really just my personal Facebook page, and that's kind of what it's been. I mean, you can um, try to be friends with me. Just try it. Just try to be friends with
Try
me.
and see what happens.
um, but otherwise, you can always write us here at Two Psychic Moms, and that's the best way to really submit a question to us. And if you want a reading, as Tammy said, there are many ways to catch her. And um, for me, it's scheduling on my site. So we have a question today from Daphne. Daphne, thank you so much. Daphne kind of went radio silent there for a couple of months. Were you on vacation, Daphne? If you were, or maybe just life.
Really, Daphne.
It could just be life, right? So, yeah. So, would you like me to read it for you, or do you want to read it out loud and go first? Because it's kind of it. I mean, it's not that it's your bailiwick, but you're like, oh, I love those questions.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I loved these questions. I did. Sure. If you actually let me read them out loud, and then whoever wants to respond first is fine with me. That way I can kind of connect with it a little bit more, I think. Um, so Daphne says, thank you so much, as always, for such enlightening messages. Thank you so much for that, Daphne. We appreciate your questions always. So her question is, do plants and animals have life purposes? I think we should start with that one. Do plants and animals have life purposes? Julie, do you want to start, or wherever you want to go? Either way, it's fine.
so I heard this morning. I don't know whether I read the question or I was just thinking about the question, but and what they told me was it's not singular so much as we as humans have life purpose, but more like a tribe or a group. So animals, for instance, I mean, way back hundreds and thousands and even hundreds of thousands of years ago, their life purpose was to sustain life on the planet, and that meant other species and Homo sapiens or whatever we were at the time, because I think we've evolved into a few different things. But their life purpose wasn't really to become enlightened or to evolve like ours, and that's fine. It They understood that and were happy to do that. That is what they came into their body or into their structure as a plant to be. So they were quite fine with that understanding. I just want to ask, did it grow or change or evolve from there? Um, so we'll say every once in a while there's some crossover with animals who are ready to have a different kind of experience. And so they might become human. I mean, I've said many times that I really believe I was a cat in some kind of many thousands of years ago lifetime. Um, Not just because I love them so much, but because I feel like I am in them and am in their mind and in their body. So, so people, animals can cross over. It's not generally something that happens, but they can do it. And is there any more about that? I'm like, can we cross over into being animals? Probably not, they're saying. It doesn't really serve you to do that, although you would certainly get a different perspective. I like that.
Mhm.
Um, I think I think I'll hand it over to you and let's see if there's anything else that comes up for me about that. But so go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Julie. That was great. Let me see here. So, do plants and animals have life purposes? So, what I'm hearing is not so much life purposes, more they are here to help the planet and to help humankind. Their vibration is one of a healing nature, and your animal friends, they're showing me like they don't think of it the same as we do, like before we come into a lifetime where we are, looking at really lessons that we want to learn. Now, they do experience different types of lives, obviously, right? You'll have some that are domesticated animals, and then some that are out in the wild. Not, and they're telling me how one isn't better than the other. One doesn't mean one has evolved over the other. It's simply an experience to have. But certainly the ones that are more of the domesticated animals really do, if you want to call it, have a purpose of just really bringing in that light of healing for their loved ones in a family dynamic. And so we could say in some ways, while they don't really have that per se life purpose, in a sense, they are coming as oftentimes healers and to be a support to us. Plant life, thank you, gives us energy. Again, it's a healing vibration. So again, if we want to put it under a title of purpose in a sense, it is that again, it's representing life, because they show me how when we let our eyes fall upon plants and flowers and beauty, that in itself is very healing for us. This is why we often remind everybody to look up to the trees when you are feeling very earth plane stuff, to remind yourself, because really they're the beauty marks of our planet and they represent life. So, and not so much, like I said, of the purpose, but that I would say as healers and reminders of source and heaven and magic and love, unconditional love, as we know with our pets.
Right.
Um,
And
so yeah,
and plants for sure have healing and capacities in and of themselves. I mean,
I
uh,
do.
way before Western medicine, there was herbal medicine. So that
Right.
is that for many in many ways was their life purpose.
Yeah.
If we
Hmm.
think of it that way.
Hmm.
So yeah, in the bigger sense, both of them have healing properties.
Yeah. Right. Oh, absolutely. Agreed. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting for that particular question. Um, any more on that, or did you want to go to the next question?
That's it for me.
Okay. So, do plants and animals have soul contracts with each other? That's actually a really good question. I've never. I mean, I've looked at it like, of course, with like another human being. Do our cats have a soul agreement or contracts with us? But with each other, well, I mean, I'm getting absolutely they do. But do you want me just to go into what I'm getting and then okay.
Please.
Okay. So I'm just asking, do plants and animals have soul contracts with each other? Yes. Just as you will come in, they're telling me, having soul contracts, agreements with siblings. You might imagine it like that. Many animals who certainly come together in the same home have an agreement to be together. In fact, I'm interjecting. I've looked at past lifetimes between animals together, and or animals with their owners, in a sense. Owners, you know what I mean? They're people. And seeing what other lifetimes they've had with each other. And so yes, I mean, definitely I've seen where two animals were that, it seems I did one not long ago like that, where they might have again been either they were two dogs and they were two dogs before that I was seeing being shown. So they do. Oftentimes they will make the agreement to come in at the same time with each other. The one they may be, there's one comes in, let's say you adopt another animal. We're talking about the domesticated animals, obviously. So you adopt another animal because one has transitioned. And that's not coincidental. That particular animal, the dog that comes in, often is guided by the one that's transitioned. Or they're kind of waiting in the wings because they know they'll have their time also with this family. They just showed me, I love that. They just showed me a tag team, like a tag is one's leaving, the other one's like going to be coming in a sense, right? Your turn. So yeah, I mean, they definitely do. Do the plants, that's a good, I want to ask it that way too, because I like that. Do plants have soul contracts with each other? They do. So what they instantly showed me is, let's say there's two tall, I'm seeing like pine trees. And they touch, they might, in the wind, they might touch, or they might be right next to each other. That's not coincidental that they are next to each other. There is also an agreement in that way. There's a love there that's been, there's a bond often. And so I know that if let's say there was two trees, one was taken down for whatever reason, maybe it needed to be, it was very old or whatever. Almost certainly I would go to that other one and have a conversation with it, and it would tell me about feeling the loss of that tree, So I would say, because of that reason, I would say yes, and what the guys are saying, of course. So yeah, I think they do. That's what we're getting. What about you, Julie?
Um, I don't know that I have anything to add to that. I think, yeah, no, I think my only distinction was that I they're not really what we would consider soul contracts. They're they're just uh they're just agreements with each other,
Mhm. Mhm.
in whatever way you want to term that. I mean, I think the bigger question is, do they have souls, right? Um, and certainly animals do.
Mhm.
And what we think of, um, plants do too, but not really in the same way that we have them. So they're a different vibration, a different range on that spectrum of life. No less important, just different. So that's all we would add to that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does. I would agree with that too. That's how I feel. I mean, if I talk to a plant, gee, you would think that after what they say to me sometimes, there might be a soul, but I agree with what you're saying. That's what I sense and feel. It's not the same as what we think of it. They have this vibration, they have this essence, but yeah, that's what I'm receiving as well on that. So the last part of the question then is, how are humans helping Gaia evolve? You want to start with that one? How are humans helping Gaia evolve? Gaia, Mother Earth, right? That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. So what we want to say is that Mother Earth or Gaia doesn't need help to evolve. She is helping us to evolve. And so, um, been here for billions of years. She knows, I say she, but she, Gaia, whatever you want to, there is no gender, but Gaia is here for us. Gaia is here to support us. And like any home, we can destroy it. It's not likely. It's been here for 5 billion years. Civilizations have come and gone. Um, Gaia's put up with a lot of crap from us. Uh,
True.
and Gaia will continue. Um, what they showed me was if Gaia had arms, it would be her embracing us. She is here for us. This is our home, and like anyone should and could, and we hopefully would respect their home. We hope that they will continue to do that. You know, there's some who are not enlightened enough to understand that without Gaia, there is no us. Um, and what we do to the planet, we do to us. And thankfully, there's more that understand that than there are that don't. So we will continue to fight this battle. In At least as I see it, or as they're giving it to me in the near term, it's like Gaia is taking. It's almost like Gaia, in a way, is our armor, and there's nicks and scars and bruises on Gaia, but it's a warrior, and it will persevere. It'd be nice if we could treat her better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're the ones that need to evolve.
I know. No, that you're right. And for let's see what I'm picking up on that. How are humans helping Gaia evolve? Well, in that particular question, they said your presence is enough because, it's sort of again, it's an agreement all the way around. Like Julie was saying, Gaia is here for us, and then we come together. It's a working team. How can we more help Gaia, perhaps? Those are things that are talked about widely. And so, in other words, what they mean by that is, certainly it's been talked enough about, what we can do with the environment and pollution and things like that. Recognizing, they're just almost showing me just being more consciously, spiritually, I would say, aware of, and they're saying, and always keeping your childlike wonder about your planet. That keeps her, gosh, I'm sensing it more than getting the words. And so I'm trying to formulate the words, but it keeps her ever glowing, when we are recognizing the awesomeness, I'm just to say that word, of the planet itself, and that we can really recognize that. That's why we talk about recognizing the trees when you're down in the dumps, looking up, looking at the flowers, putting yourself in nature. Then in a sense she glows, because then they just went like this. It's teamwork, it's togetherness. So I would say that's how we can help, is the more awareness, being out in nature, certainly doing the other things to protect the planet the best we can in whatever cause speaks to you, all doing our part, but also just paying attention and getting past some of the man-made metal and stuff that we've built around us, and depending where you live, kind of thing. But and really enjoying those pockets of, certainly, of nature if you're in a very populated area, because it's so very important to Gaia and to ourselves. And that's what I'm getting for that.
And you know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And act accordingly. I just want to share this before we close. I really migrated a lot from the news to watching Animal Planet.
Great. Perfect.
Because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And but I only watch a couple of programs because the other ones are either too icky or too emotional for me. So in the morning I watch Secrets of the Secrets of the Zoo, and it's about the zoo in England, Chester Zoo. And then then there's a couple other zoos programs that come on that kind of rotate after that. It's on at like 7 in the morning. So I marvel, and I learn a lot. I learn a lot about the species. It's fascinating to me. Um, so if you're so inclined, you can go online and do video on demand or however you do your thing to watch. But like I learned that butterflies, every species of butterflies has its own unique flight pattern. And this is how they attract each other. They know what their own unique flight pattern is. It was like, wow.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then they talk a lot about, because while there are births at the zoo, there are also deaths at the zoo. And a lot of these animals, some of them are now being bred at the zoo, but the original ones that came, they were either hunted or whatever the case may be. They were wild, and they have that wild in them. They are not. It's not bred out. Even if they're in the zoo, they still contain that DNA of their wild history, or characteristics of being wild and living in the wild. And so they do show how almost all of them go through a mourning process
Mhm.
if they lose a baby. And it's just, ugh, no, I'm not going to cry. I have something in my eye. Gosh. But sometimes I cry when I'm watching it. So um, it's pretty fascinating. So that's my tip of the day, and just so much to learn. And it's enjoyable, for a good way for me to
Yeah.
start. That's all.
That's great. And you're right. That's another way to connect, right? With the planet is like educating yourself about like the animals and things like that. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me
Yeah. So that's what we have for today.
Great questions, Daphne. Daphne,
Yeah.
you have the most wondrous, curious mind.
Mhm.
I'm sure I'm speaking for Tammy too, but I'm sure we just so appreciate it. So thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely, definitely. Thank you, thank you. So just a reminder, yeah, for any questions that you might have, things like this, or ones that are kind of for the greater good of all, then send them to us so we can get a channeled response for you.
And share them, please.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's how we grow. All
Yeah.
right, dear ones, my dear friend Tammy,
Thank you.
um, that's it for today. Oh, by the way, today is Tuesday, February 21st. It's my daughter's birthday. I
Oh,
guess I'm.
is it? Oh, happy birthday to her.
And that's it for now. So until next time, we're two psychic moms, and we shall see you again.
Yep. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.